Okay, can you go to next, please? Okay, I will start with a brief introduction to NLP, just a brief introduction so that you can understand why the exercises work and etc.
所以我想呢，先做对 NLP 做一个非常简单的介绍，这样你们能了解 NLP 它是怎么工作的。
NLP started in the United States, as I said, in the 70s.
NLP 呢，其实它起源于美国，就像我刚才说的，来自美国的70年代。
And it started with a man called Richard Bandler, first, that one on there.
他开始那个第一个那个头像就是那个 Richard Bandler。
Richard Bandler was studying computer and science in the University of Santa Cruz in California.
Richard Bandler 他在美国的圣地亚哥吧，
叫 Santa Cruz， 这个美国的加州的大学，是我的大学。
起源于美国麦克老师的大学，他在那儿读的那个电脑和科学，计算机和科学。
And he didn't have much money to afford the tuitions and everything that he had to pay for the university. I heard that from him.
然后他没有足够的那个钱来交他在美国的那些每年学期的费用。
And he had to make some extra money to cover his expenses.
他就不得不去挣一些外快来弥补他的开支。
And one of the jobs that he had was to translate some tapes from famous therapists.
其中呢，他的一个工作，他打工的一个工作呢，就是去翻译一些有名的治疗师的那个他们的笔记手稿。
I'm sure that most of you heard of Fritz Perls, a famous Gestalt therapist. It's a therapist called Fritz Perls. He lived in the United States, and
所以我想你们可能不知道有没有人听过 Fritz Perls。
创始人。
皮尔斯。
And he had to publish 2 books, and he couldn't finish the books.
他必须得写2本书，但他自己好像写不完。
All the editors had was some tapes from some of his sessions with clients. Some tapes, some cassette tapes. The publishers only had some cassette tapes. Some tapes, some old tapes.
卡式录音带。
听录音然后给他抄。
他就听他的录音，然后帮他给写的手稿。
And Richard Bandler started to help to finish Fritz Perls' books because he had to finish the books. He was old, and the publisher needed the book completed.
所以呢，这个所以他呢就不得不他的工作呢就是帮那个皮尔斯写这个手稿，因为那个皮尔斯不得不完成这本书，出版商还等着要。
And he started to pay attention on Fritz Perls' way to deal with clients. Yes, thank you, Stanley. Fritz Perls.
然后他就开始，然后他在这个过程中就开始关注到皮尔斯是怎么跟来访者进行他的工作的。
And Richard Bandler started up an approach very different from other psychologists. He wasn't a psychologist. He says that he wasn't a psychologist. That's why he did something totally different.
然后那个 Richard Bandler 呢，他虽然其实他不是一个心理学家，但他开始从一个他开始做这个心理学的工作，并且与心理学家做的方法完全不同。
Fritz Perls, he was great about making powerful questions. He did powerful questions, and people started to think about the questions. He was great about making those powerful questions.
那皮尔斯呢，他非常 有名的一点就是他非常能够提出那些非常有力量的问题，然后引导那个来访者听到那个问题，他们就真的开始去思考。
And instead of trying to understand why Fritz Perls had success with his clients, instead of trying to answer why does he have success, instead of asking himself why does Fritz Perls have success,
所以，然后他就开始思考为什么，皮尔斯能够在这个心理咨询领域取得如此杰出的成果。
he was interested about what he was doing.
他开始非常感兴趣于这个皮尔斯他正在做的是什么。
He started to model Fritz Perls.
他开始试着去模仿皮尔斯。
The way he would do the questions, the way he would interact with the clients.
他提问题的方式，他和来访者互动的方式。
He wasn't very interested in theories, like the other Gestalt therapists.
他对那个，他并不像其他的一些理论心理学家那样对理论特别感兴趣。
He was asking himself, how does he does what he does? How Fritz Perls, which is the way that he interacts with the clients? How does he manage to make that questions? And he started to model this.
他就开始去想，他是怎么做到他做的那些事情的？他是怎么与来访者沟通和互动的？然后他开始去模仿。
And he did the same thing with other therapists also. He made friends with Virginia Satir.
他也对其他的一些有名的心理治疗师做同样的事情。他和那个萨提亚是朋友。
Virginia Satir was a great family therapist, a great, fabulous family therapist.
萨提亚是一个非常杰出的家庭治疗师，非常杰出，非常棒。
She could change a family dynamic within minutes or very little time.
他可以在很短的几次咨询之内就能彻底的改变一个家庭。
And she was very intuitive about what she was doing. Very intuitive. She had a hunch, I'm going to do that. She didn't think she would get there and do things.
就他在治疗中，他有非常强的直觉。
And according to Richard Bandler, maybe Stan can say if that was true. According to Richard Bandler, she was very intuitive, and she couldn't explain what she was doing herself. When she tried to explain how she had success with families, she couldn't do it.
所以据那个 Richard Bandler 的了解呢，萨提亚他就是一个直觉性非常强的人，然后他根本就无法说他在做什么。如果让他表达他在做什么，他就懵了，做不到。
She was great about working with the family there in a room, for instance.
比如说他在一个咨询室中呢，他可以在那个家庭那个组成的团体里做非常杰出的工作。
But when she was trying to explain what she was doing, sometimes she didn't know exactly what she was doing because she was very intuitive.
但是当你要让他解释说他正在做什么的时候，他就懵了，他根本没法解释说他在做什么，因为他就是靠他的直觉来做。
And Richard Bandler and John Grinder started to do the same thing, to ask themselves, what is she doing? What is she doing?
所以 Richard Bandler 他就开始问自己说，那个萨提亚他在做什么
How is she interacting with the clients? How's the way in which she is interacting? How is she using her body language and pay attention to all those things?
他就想，那个萨提亚他是怎么做到的呢？他是如何与这个家庭进行互动的呢？他的那些肢体语言在表达出什么呢？
And they did the same thing with Milton Erickson, this gentleman here.
他 他对那个埃里克森也做了同样的事情。
Milton Erickson was a great hypnotherapist.
埃里克森呢也是一个非常杰出的心理学家，治疗师，心理治疗师，催眠治疗师。
He could hypnotize lots of people in a way, in a very special way. He was very successful about dealing with clients and helping people.
他可以同时催眠很多的，然后可以处理很多人的问题。
And they did the same thing. They started to pay attention what Milton Erickson was doing, how was he using his language, his communication patterns.
然后他对埃里克森也在做同样的事，他就想埃里克森正在做的是什么呢？他是如何与这个人们，他如何在语言上和人们沟通和人们互动的呢？
That's how NLP started, modeling successful therapists.
所以这就是 NLP 的模式，就是他们模仿那些最有名的、杰出的心理治疗师。
They were not interested in the theories and the concepts. They were interested about the way the therapists were dealing with the clients, the language, the patterns they were using.
他们对那些理论和概念并不感兴趣，他们感兴趣的是治疗师所运用的，他们和来访者正在做的事情，他们和来访者沟通的那个模式。
Okay. And since that time, NLP have been doing this modeling excellence in general.
所以总体上呢，从那个时候开始 ，NLP 就在这个建立这个模型，在模仿的这个方面开始发展起来。
NLP, when we talk about NLP, we have to understand we have programming, neuro, and linguistic.
所以当我们谈 NLP 的时候，把它拆开，我们就知道是关于神经，然后关于程序、神经和语言。
Okay. And so, when we deal with that, neuro refers to the nervous system.
那个神经呢，就是指神经系统。
And how it processes and encodes information.
它是如何处理和编码信息的，
as well as memories in our body and neurology.
以及呢我们身体和神经的记忆。
It refers to experiences and the way they were projected.
它指的是呢我们的神经，
They came inside, the way they came inside the mind.
它指的是那些它指的是那些经验是如何进入我们的神经机制和过程中。
And linguistics refer to the meaning that we create to our experiences.
那语言呢，指的就是这个。
Linguistics refers to the meaning that we create to the experiences, the meaning that we create, the meaning that we give to our experiences in general.
语言赋予的经验，语言指我们对我们这些经历所赋予的这个意义，对吧？
And programming is the way we put all together inside.
那程序呢，就指我们把所有的这些东西放入我们的内在。
I must tell you that for many years, when I first heard of NLP,
我想告诉大家，就是当我第一次听到 NLP 的时候，很多年，
I couldn't understand this programming thing. It kept me away from NLP for a while. I couldn't understand how programming people.
我当时那很多年里呢，我其实并不能理解 NLP 到底是什么，所以它其实是把我和 NLP 推远了，因为我在想，关于程序和人到底有什么关系？
But it has nothing to do with programming.
但是其实它跟程序是没什么关系。
It has to do about understanding the way you create sequences inside of your mind. The way you encode your experience inside.
所以它其实关乎的是你怎么把你的那个你的 的经验编码到你的内在。
If I have an anxiety or depression, for instance,
比如说，如果我有焦虑或者抑郁的话，
it means I am repeating patterns inside.
它意味着呢，我在重复着这么一个模式，在我的内在我在重复一个模式。
And NLP helps you to understand what you are doing inside,
NLP 呢，它就是帮助你去了解你的内在，它到底正在发生什么，你在做什么。
so that you can decide other things to do instead of the problem.
所以呢，你就可以决定你想做，所以你就可以决定你可以去做一些其他的事情，而不是一直重复